بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا ونبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين اللهم تقبل منا وتب علينا يا أرحم الراحمين اللهم أعنا على ذكرك وشكرك وحسن عبادتك ولا تجعلنا يا مولانا من الغافلين عن ذكرك ولا عن طاعتك وتب علينا واغفر لنا وارحمنا وتقبل منا يا أكرم الأكرمين. Assalamu alaikum. Jazakumullah khair for accepting me tonight, inshallah, to talk about the criteria of the Sharia of Islam. The criteria of the Sharia of Islam. In Arabic, we call it khasa'is al-Sharia al-Islamiyya. Sharia al-Islamiyya, what are the thing that categorize the Sharia from any other Sharia? So, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He said in the Quran in Surah Al-Imran, إِنَّ الدِّينَ عِنْدَ اللَّهِ الْإِسْلَامِ. The accepted religion with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the Islam. Okay. When somebody is talking to us about Islam, if somebody asks you, for example, they said, what's so significant about your religion? And here are the points that tells you the significant point about our religion. Before we can go to it, the religion itself, ad-deen, the scholar have categorized the deen into two main sections. And some other, they categorize it in a different way. It depends on which book you're reading, and also it depends on what school of thought you are following. But they both mean the same thing, but it's different category. I'm going to go with the easier one. There are two divisions to define the religion of Islam. Block number one, they call it the block of Aqidah, belief. Or some people, they call it imaniyat, to believe. And those people, they said to believe in Allah and the angels and the books of Allah and the Rasul of Allah and the judgment day and the fate, whether it's good or bad, from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This part, the first part, they call it the part of Aqidah. We need to use this word in Arabic for us to be accustomed to it. Aqidah. Aqidah, there is nothing you can do about it. There is no wudu, there is no salah, there is no ablution, there is nothing. Aqidah is totally the way of thinking and the way you believe. The way you could vision things. The way you could understand Allah. The way that you truly believe from inside of your heart.
Is it the same as principles? Aqeedah, is it the same as principles?
Use the word that you want. I'm trying to explain it
Iman.
where it will mean good.
Yeah, Iman.
It's the block of thinking,
Right.
the block of belief. It's what you have inside of your heart that you believe in, that you are willing to meet your Lord, your God, believing in it. Aqidah, from the word aqada. Aqada, you make a knot.
Right.
That means you have tied your heart on this particular belief. You tied your mind and your brain. This is what you believe. Now this block of Aqidah, one. The second block, now we're not going to discuss today either block. We're not discussing none. All what we're discussing, the criteria, what makes the Sharia of Islam, what makes it so unique, what are the items that we're going to go through the items. But going through each item and explaining that, the people of the College of Theology, they study that for about 2-3 semesters. So today we're trying just to break some of the definitions, to understand, to have what we call it a global or general understanding about the Sharia of Islam. That's all what we're going to do, to have a general understanding. And so the second block, they call it the block of Sharia. So we have Aqidah, we have Sharia. And now the people who use this terminology, they use that, they said Aqidah and Sharia, that makes the religion. Why do they do that? Because all the prophets of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala share the same Aqidah. But not all the prophets of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala share the same Sharia. The proof of that, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in Surah Al-Jathiyah, ayah number 18, ثُمَّ جَعَلْنَاكَ عَلَى شَرِيعَةٍ مِّنَ الْأَمْرِ فَاتَّبِعْهَا. So it means like specifically that we have made a Sharia for you, Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, ثُمَّ جَعَلْنَاكَ, talking to the Prophet, عَلَى شَرِيعَةٍ مِّنَ الْأَمْرِ فَاتَّبِعْهَا. So the second block, the Sharia of Musa alayhi salam is different than the Sharia of Isa, is different than the Sharia of all the Prophets, and Islamic Sharia that the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam have composed or put together or compiled by the order of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is different, and it will abrogate all the other Shara'i and supersede any other Sharia. So nobody today, Christian, Jews, whoever they are, they can say, well, in my Sharia, I have to do this and I want to do that. No. That's why the Prophet ﷺ said in the authentic hadith, Wallahi, لو كان موسى حيا ما وسعه إلا أن يتبعني. If Musa himself was alive, he has to follow me. He has to follow my Sharia. When Isa alayhi salam comes back, there's an indication from the hadith, it was the time for the salah. They told him, come and pray for us. They said, no. It was established for you. So Isa alayhi salam, when he comes back, he will pray behind the Imam of the Muslimin to indicate that he's going to follow the Sharia of Islam. You see why those particular scholars, they decided on those two blocks to make this particular definition. That Aqidah, all the prophets came with the same Aqidah. Now, understanding this, we can understand some of the ayat of the Quran, and we can understand some of the hadith. Let's bring one of each as an example. Hold on, before I forget. Okay? When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told us in the Quran to say, لا نفرق بين أحد منهم, we do not distinguish between all those scholars. Why we don't distinguish? Because the Aqidah is the same. You read in Surah Hud, you find out for each prophet, and he said, يا قوم اعبدوا الله ما لكم من إله غيره. يا قوم اعبدوا الله ما لكم من إله غيره. All the prophets that came in the Quran, and specifically you can see that repeated many times in Surah Hud, يا قوم اعبدوا الله ما لكم من إله غيره. This is the block of Aqidah. Okay? But the Sharia is different. We pray different, we fast different, we make zakah different, and all the rules and regulations of the Sharia is different. And the example of the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, the Prophet ﷺ said in the hadith authentic, لا تفضلوني على يونس ibn Matta. Do not make me better than him. Why? Because the block of belief, the Aqidah that I came with, is the same Aqidah like Yunus came with. So you cannot make me better because we're the same. Understand that? Okay. Now, having said, what's your question?
Yes, sir. I was wondering if I understand you don't want to talk about Aqidah and Sharia separately, but I was hoping if you can explain the sutun or the pillars of Aqidah at least, because those are the constant ones.
If you had come today at 12 o'clock to the Islamic Center,
Yeah.
there was a lecture there today about the Aqidah. And continuation, inshallah, next week at 12 o'clock on Sunday on the Islamic Center. We're going to have also the second
You're
class.
teaching there?
Yes,
I didn't know that.
for Aqidah. No, alhamdulillah.
This is every Sunday?
No. I will send you the post whenever it comes to me. Yes, brother. No. So anyway, I can't because I don't have time to go through this and go through the other because each one is a class by itself. With apology to you.
No problem.
Jazakallah khair.
Jazakallah khair.
So this is the Sharia. Now we understand the Sharia. The Sharia deals with all the rules and regulation of Islam. طيب. Explain it to us a little bit more. Okay. Under the Sharia, we have what we call it ibadat. Block of worship. Any kind of worship. Salah, zakah, siyam, hajj. All of this, ibadat, will be under that particular item. Another item, they call it al-mu'amalat. You buy, you sell, you trade, you get married, you get divorced. People die, we bury them. People get born. All of it under mu'amalat.
Dealings.
Under that one, the third one will be al-akhlaqiyat. The moral value or the moral ethics in Islam will be under that. So they call it the Sharia. So Sharia, you can say ibadat, mu'amalat, and akhlaqiyat. Those are main categories. You could put them there. So this is all Sharia. Now, this Sharia, where does it come from? There are two main sources of the Sharia and the Aqidah. Now we're going to talk, we call it Aqidah and Sharia. We call it Deen. This is our religion. Aqidah and Sharia. Okay. What is the source of this? Two sources. Two main sources. Al-Quran and the teaching and the Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ. We have to specify that it is the authentic Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ. So we have those two main sources. Now those two main sources, the understanding of the Sahaba and the action of the Prophet ﷺ, we made us add another two sources, which the scholar, they call them Ijma' and Qiyas. So now we have two main ones and two sub-main ones. Quran and Sunnah, and then from it, we have Ijma' and Qiyas. Ijma', most people, even though I have to say what it means very briefly, Ijma', some people think that Ijma', which is the collateral opinion or the collective opinion of the scholar or of the Sahaba, of the scholar at any time about a point. This is one form of Ijma'. But Ijma' is collective opinion about something was already established. To say it in Arabic, إجماع الصحابة على فهم معين أو إجماع العلماء على رأي معين. Those collective scholars or Sahaba, they have agreed on one particular thing. So people believe that Ijma' is collective opinion on a disputed point of view. It is not. That smaller form of Ijma'. Ijma', the word Ijma' means collective opinion, agreed upon opinion. Okay? So there's two kinds. Ijma'un ala اختلاف وإجماع على فهم. What is important here is the second one, that collective opinion on something had been agreed on. An example, all the Sahaba agreed on the Salah, agreed on the Zakah, agreed from the action of the Prophet, even though they are the sources. The Quran said, أقيموا الصلاة. How do we establish the Salah? We go to the Sunnah. We find out that the Prophet ﷺ showed us the Sunnah. Is there any dispute about al-Dhuhr to be 4 rak'ah? No. This is what they call it, إجماع على فهم. Okay, as-sariq, this is something somebody says, well, this is so obvious. We already know that. Okay, take another one. When a sariq, for example, steal, what do? We cut his right hand. Right hand, not the left one, right hand. Cutting the right hand is ijma' on the understanding from what they saw the Prophet ﷺ had ordered and done, and from what the Sahaba, radwanullahi alayhim. So ijma'un ala fahm. So this is ijma'. Without going too much detail to spend the time, we're going to go to the fourth one. The fourth one is qiyas. Qiyas means that استواء العلة في أمرين فنستعير حكم الأولى على الثانية. We have two things. They have the same problem. But we have a rule for this one. We don't have a rule for this one. Because they have the same problem, we borrow the rule of the first one, we apply it on the second one.
Because of the similarities of the problem.
Exactly. This is what they call it in Arabic, illah. You know, the core of it. Okay, an example. Wine is haram. What's the problem with wine? يخامر العقل. It makes you go crazy. It does not make your judgment correct. It plays with your mind. It plays with your ability to make a decision. This is the problem. This is the illah. Now, smoking weed, we have nothing in the Sharia speaking about smoking weed. But they have the same problem. This plays with your mind. This will make you lose the ability of the decision making. The same thing like al-khamr. So we borrow the rule for al-khamr that it is haram, prohibited, and we gave it to the drugs. You see? This is what we call it, qiyas. Now, are these only the main sources of rules and regulations in the Sharia? No, there are others. But I'm not going to go through them because I will consume the rest of the time. But for people to know, we have what we call it al-istishab, al-istihsan, and then al-urf. You see?
اجتهاد.
Huh?
اجتهاد. اجتهاد.
No, ijtihad is different. Okay? Ijtihad is something else.
Okay.
But you're close, you're not out. You know, you're within it. صلي على محمد. I said صلي على محمد.
I did.
You said? سمعني. Okay, go ahead.
Sheikh, quick question. I understand that your time is restricted here. Let's say that we have scholars here in the United States that have issued fatwa about buying a house, interest, and all of that. Now, that kind of a ruling, what does that fall under? Quran, Sunnah, Ijma, or Qiyas?
Well, this fall under the ijtihad that you said.
That's why I said.
You see? Now, ijtihad is totally different thing. You know, ijtihad is that we have a bunch of text. And the scholar who has knowledge from the Arabic language, from the fiqh, from the qawa'id al-fiqh, the rules and regulation of fiqh, you know, ilm al-usul, and he understands it, knowledge of the Quran, knowledge of the Sunnah, he has to know what hadith is authentic, what hadith is not authentic, and so on. So this scholar will sit down and study all these texts, put it this way, and can derive from these texts to a particular rule and regulation. Okay? He might be right, he might be wrong.
What does the word ijtihad means? I know what it means in
Ijtihad-
Farsi, but
To derive to a rule, to
Extraction.
exert your mind, to exert your knowledge, to come up with a verdict, ijtihad, from a bunch of texts.
an assessment.
Okay. This back to the subject. We're talking about the aspects of Sharia al-Islamiyya. Now, we know where it comes from. We know what it consists of. We know what the definition of deen, aqidah, and Sharia. We understand what the Sharia is. Akhlaq, muamalat, ibadat. So good so far? So far so good? Okay. Now, this Sharia has a very unique and important feature, which is Rabbaniyatul Masdar. The source of it is Allah. Now, why you say that? Because Allah is the legislator. Allah and only Allah is al-musharri'. The Prophet ﷺ makes the Sharia by the permission of Allah. You see? By the permission of Allah. Allah told about him, وَمَا يَنطِقُ عَنِ الْهَوَىٰ إِنْ هُوَ إِلَّا وَحْيٌ يُوحَىٰ. He does not speak on his behalf, the Prophet. He speaks by the indication and the order and by the oracle that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent unto him. Okay? إِنْ هُوَ إِلَّا وَحْيٌ يُوحَىٰ. Now, this Sharia, because the source of it is Allah, all of us, what do? We respect it. We love it. We are afraid to violate. All of these are criteria because it is Rabbaniyatul Masdar. The source of it is Allah. How can anybody violate that? How can anybody negate that or does not accept? Not accepting the rules and regulation of Allah, that will put the person out of Islam if he knows. Put 2 lines under the word if he knows. You see? You have to let him know. Somebody might say something. Some people came to me the other day and said, this beer that we're drinking has 3-4%. It has 3-4%. It is not khamr and it's not haram. Okay, this person does not know. Come, brother, sit down. Let's tell you what the rule. Let's tell you what the scholar said. Let's tell you why it is haram. And then here are the texts. The Prophet ﷺ said this and this and this. ما أسكر كثيره فقليله ما أسكر قليله فكثير ما أسكر كثيره فقليله حرام. That's it. Anything, even if you drink a gallon and you go drunk, then 1 drop is haram. That's what the Prophet said. So don't tell me it's 2% or 3%, that is haram. So you teach this guy. After you teach him, and he sees what the Prophet ﷺ said, and he sees the explanation of the scholar, this is what they call it, أَقَمْتَ الْحُجَّةَ عَلَيْهِ. You have established proof against his claim. When you teach him that, and after that he says, well, I'm not going to buy all of this crap. Then you could say, the person who does the same thing will become kafir. Another indication on the side, the scholar said, we do not claim people to be kuffar. This is an important point. We claim the action to be kafir. You see? I am not going to tell about a person in particular that this person is kafir. No. But I'm going to say the one who denies the rules and regulation of Allah will become kafir. Okay, this person denies the rules and regulation of Allah. I'm not going to tell him you are kafir. I'm going to say who denounce, who reject the rules and regulation of Allah is kafir. We have a rule from our scholar. The rule says that we make kufr to the action, not to the actor. Clear? Hold
Does it apply to non-Muslims as well?
So, some of the scholars, they said yes, because this person who is now is non-Muslim, you're going to tell him you're kafir, you're going to be in hellfire. Maybe before he dies, he became a Muslim. You see? So what I will say is, the one who say Jesus is the Son of God, the act,
I see.
is kafir. But I'm not going to tell about John, he's a kafir.
So the term that we use, kuffar, that's forbidden. We should not be using that.
Huh?
Kuffar, when we use the terminology kuffar.
The kuffar, this is general term. The people, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, look at what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in the Quran. In Surah Al-Ma'idah, لَقَدْ كَفَرَ الَّذِينَ قَالُوا. Committed kufr, who? The people who said, إِنَّ اللَّهَ ثَالِثُ ثَلَاثَةٍ. لَقَدْ كَفَرَ الَّذِينَ قَالُوا إِنَّ اللَّهَ هُوَ الْمَسِيحُ عِيسَى بْنُ مَرْيَمَ. Look what Allah said. Learn. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made kufr to the action. But He didn't say, something else. لَقَدْ كَفَرَ. Even though they are kuffar now because they say this. Okay? But it will be always safer to make kufr to the action. The one who makes khamr halal is kafir. But this guy drinks khamr. Maybe he said it's halal. I'm not going to tell him you are kafir. I'm going to tell the one who believes that khamr is halal and he knows otherwise from the sharia is kafir. Be safe. Okay? Why the scholars are afraid so much, even though it's a side point? Because there is a hadith in Sahih Muslim. The Prophet ﷺ said, "Man kaffara musliman faqad kafar." Man kaffara musliman faqad kafar. If you tell a Muslim you are a kafir, then you become a kafir. Or another hadith in Sahih Muslim, "Man kaffara musliman faqad ba'a biha ahaduhuma." You tell a Muslim you are a kafir, you are either a kafir or he is a kafir. Has to be one. That's what the hadith said. I'm going to stay out of this and I'm going to make kufr to the action. Okay? Then the person who is committing that action, then he knows that he is a kafir. But I didn't tell him. I made kufr to the action. Anyway, this is a side point. So the sharia, the source of the sharia is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. When you said Allah is the source of the sharia, then within your heart you have an awe, you have a respect, you become afraid, you have qudsiyya to the ahkam. It is not like belongs to somebody who's going to change his mind. Another thing is, when you say a sharia is rabbaniyatul masdar, repeating the same word, what does that tell you? That's going to tell you it is fair. It is just. It does not have any mistakes. Because the one who put it is Allah. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not make mistakes. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not forget. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not favor anybody over anybody. Inna, Surah Al-Hujurat, akramakum indallahi atqakum. That means I'm not better because I'm Arabs. You're not better because you are richer. You are not better because you are a doctor. Who's better? Akramakum indallah. Now who's akramana indallah? We don't know. So nobody can claim to be superior or better. Because better with Allah. So how do you know your status in Allah? You don't
Taqwa is in the heart, and we don't know the heart. So
I don't know my status, I don't know your status.
right.
So I cannot say you're better or I'm better. Out. This belongs to Allah. Okay? When you have this, That means you're looking at the Sharia, that everybody is equal in the eye of the Sharia. You see, it doesn't favor anybody. But for example, when people make Sharia, people make rules and regulation, they're trying to make for them. You know, they make rule to favor themselves. Okay? The American will favor the American, the French will favor the French, and so on. But when it belongs to Allah, we are all ibadullah. We are all the slave of Allah. You see? This is some of the khasa'is of the Sharia. Now, another rule, because it is from Allah, because under the eye of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala we are all equal, no one, this is very important, you may not see it, but it is important. What is it? Another criterion, that nobody can be above the Sharia of Allah. Nobody can say, this is not applicable to me. You see? Even the Prophet. That's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told him in the Quran, قُلْ, say, إِنْ أَتَّبِعُ إِلَّا مَا يُوحَى إِلَيْهِ. The Prophet ﷺ himself say to the people, Allah, tell him to people. So the Prophet ﷺ said, Quran, I only follow what it has been ordained unto me. I only follow what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has prescribed. I only follow what the oracle have told me to do. So there is no difference between the Prophet and anybody else when it comes to the eye of the Sharia. Have you ever heard that the Prophet ﷺ did not make salah? Have you ever heard that the Prophet ﷺ did not fast Ramadan? Have you ever heard that the Prophet ﷺ did not pay zakah or give sadaqah? No. The Prophet ﷺ did, and he was the best in applying the rules and regulation of the Sharia, the block of ibadat, the block of muamalat, and deal and wheel, and in the block of moral ethics and moral value. You see, he was the best, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Why? Because he is the abd. He is the ultimate abd. He is the best abd. And that's why the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said in the hadith, ألا وإني أعبدكم لله وأخشاكم لله وأتقاكم لله. Hadith reported by Muslim. You see? He is the most worshipper. He is the most fearful of Allah. And he is the most that he has taqwa to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You see? So this Sharia, somebody might say, why is it so important? You said it is important. Because what we all came from, background of my home, we've heard about some people, they said that we have qutub, we have wali, we have al-ghawth, we have so and so, you know. And many of those, maybe you were not old enough when you are back home to hear that from your father or great-grandfather, but it is there. I have seen them in my own eyes. We went one time with a sheikh on a trip and came to Salat al-Dhuhr. He did not pray. We prayed. Why don't you pray? I said, سقطت عني. I'm exempted. Why you are exempted? Because وَعْبُدْ رَبَّكَ حَتَّى يَأْتِيَكَ الْيَقِينَ. They got the ayah. Worship Allah until you have the ultimate knowledge and belief. And I have the ultimate knowledge and belief, so I don't have to worship no more. طب يا أخي اليقين in this ayah means death. That's your opinion. I have a different opinion. وَالْعِيَاذُ بِاللَّهِ. So that's why the scholar have put this to boycott all of this understanding. Everybody has to follow the Sharia. Everybody is abd. Okay? A Sharia is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala rules and regulates. Meaning, that means two things or more. But let's go one by one. That means you cannot omit anything from the Sharia. Because it's Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made it. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put it. Nobody can say, well, it's not necessary nowadays. Or time had changed. No. Nobody has the right to omit, cancel, delete anything from the Sharia. One. Two, nobody has the right to add to the Sharia. Now, what would happen if somebody adds to the Sharia? If he knows what he's doing, he becomes kafir. Why? Because at the Sharia, to legislate, it's a criteria of Allah. Who is the legislator? Allah. If you say there is somebody who can legislate beside Allah, you are a kafir, wal-iyadu billah. Nobody can legislate except Allah. The Prophet ﷺ legislate by the order of Allah, not on his own. It has to be clear. Why? The legislator is Allah. Only Allah. Okay? So if somebody is trying to legislate, that means he's making Allah of himself. If he knows that, he becomes kafir. If you accept his legislation, you become kafir because you accepted him to be Allah beside Allah. You see? We cannot omit, we cannot add, we cannot legislate. It's all criteria of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Okay? So, also, what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says and ordered, we have format of it. Sometimes it's in a general term. Because it is general term, we need somebody to teach us the specific of it. All of you know the example. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala never in the Quran mentioned that Dhuhr is 4 rak'ah, or Asr, or Maghrib, or Isha, or Fajr. Right? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in the Quran, وَأَقِيمُوا الصَّلَاةَ وَآتُوا الزَّكَاةَ. But he didn't tell us what the zakah is. He gave us a general term. So we have to go to the Sunnah, teaching of the Prophet ﷺ, to understand that general term. أَقِيمُوا الصَّلَاةَ. How, Ya Rasulullah? Okay, here it is. That's why the Prophet ﷺ said, خُذُوا عَنِّي مَنَاسِكَكُمْ. Learn from me what you need to do for the Hajj. صَلُّوا كَمَا رَأَيْتُمُونِي أُصَلِّي. Pray as you have seen me pray. Is that only for the Salah? No. As he said, صَلُّوا كَمَا رَأَيْتُمُونِي أُصَلِّي, the scholar said it means to make that general understanding. That means you make zakah like he ordered you, you make siyam like he ordered you, to make all the sharia as the Prophet ﷺ showed us. Clear? And there are many proofs, like for example, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in Surah An-Nisa, فَلَا وَرَبِّكَ لَا يُؤْمِنُونَ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is making an oath. He's making an oath by himself. He's telling the Prophet, فَلَا وَرَبِّكَ. That means himself, subhanahu wa ta'ala. لَا يُؤْمِنُونَ. They're not going to be a believer until they make you a judge. حَتَّى يُحَكِّمُوكَ فِيمَا شَجَرَ بَيْنَهُم. Until they appoint you to be the judge for anything, for any matters, for any dispute, for anything that faces them in their life. Buying, selling, lending, borrowing, marrying, divorcing, fighting, whatever. Dealing with others, Muslim, non-Muslim, whatever you can think of. They have to go to the Prophet to see how it is done. حَتَّى يُحَكِّمُوكَ فِي مَا شَجَرَ بَيْنَهُمْ. Then, is that only enough? No. ثُمَّ لَا يَجِدُوا فِي أَنفُسِهِمْ حَرَجًا مِمَّا قَضَيْتَ. It is not like somebody, this is the order of the Prophet, okay, إِنَّا اللَّهَ وَإِنَّا رَاجِعُونَ, we're going to do it. No. You have to do it with happiness. ثم لا يجدوا في أنفسهم حرجا مما قضيت. We see women today, they put hijab. They're tired of it. They hate it. They're doing it, but they hate it. We tell them, wait, you are in dangerous zone. Your job is to be accepted, your deed to be accepted. You have to be happy from inside. ثم لا يجد في أنفسهم حرج. I have no haraj. I have no problem. I don't feel embarrassed. You know? ثم لا يجد في أنفسهم حرجا مما قضيت. And then one more, yes. ويسلموا تسليما. What does يسلموا تسليما mean? Believe it or not, the scholar went in so many opinions trying to explain ويسلموا تسليما. Some people said ويسلموا تسليما that they are happy, like they have tranquility in their heart. Some people, they said they are so proud. I'm putting my hijab, I'm proud, I'm a Muslimah, I'm adopting to the rules and regulations of Allah, I'm hoping that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will reward me, I'm inviting people to the will of Islam and to the attitude of Islam because I'm a Muslimah because of my hijab. I'm making so many people having so many questions. I am challenging everybody who is going against the hijab by me putting the hijab. Some people say, this is why you sallimu taslima. They're happy. They live with it. They have none whatsoever in their heart against it. And they feel proud. You see? Some people said, why you sallimu taslima? Some people, they said, is this the order of Allah? They said, yes. They said, سمعنا وأطعنا. ويسلموا تسليما. سمعنا وأطعنا. Not only in this, in everything. Some people are doing so many things. You tell them, this is haram. Haram? Inna lillahi wa inna ilaihi raji'un. Astaghfirullah al-azim. I didn't know that. Cut it. You see? They do not have dispute. They do not have, Ya akhi, is this your verdict? Is there any other scholar said something else? Ya akhi, some people call me, wallahi, some people call me and said, find us a fatwa to do this. يعني فبرك لنا fatwa. You know, find something. لاقي لك حل يا أخي. يعني حلها شوي. You see? As if that the deed is mine, I cut it, and paste it the way I want. It's not cut and paste. No. This is not it. This is the rules and regulations of Allah. I have to say, سمعنا وأطعنا. It's a great story. I always say it, maybe you've heard it before, but it's a great story. And imagine that if it is done today, how will people react? Anas, radiallahu anhu, was reporting the story. Anas ibn Malik, the young guy, and he used to serve the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He said, one day, I was the maid, al-khadim, that I was pouring wine for the Sahaba. Pouring wine. They're having a lot of wine, and they are drinking wine, and Anas is having that jug of wine, and going, your glass is empty, I'll fill it up. Your glass is empty, I'll fill it up. Your glass is empty, I'll fill it up. Where? In the house of Abu Talha. Bunch of the Sahaba sitting down, having a party and drinking wine. And Anas is the one who is pouring wine. All of a sudden they've heard somebody out of the street making a call. They did not understand what's going on. Somebody died, somebody had an accident, somebody this, somebody that. They don't know. Abu Talha radiallahu anhu said, Ya Anas, why don't you go outside and see what all this commotion is all about? Anas went outside and heard somebody say, Ala hurrimat al-khamr. Somebody came from the masjid of the Prophet ﷺ. He was telling in the street, oh people, the khamr became haram. Wine is becoming haram. Anas heard, came back to the house, Abu Talha said, what's going on? And he said, حرمت الخمر. Now think about the action, if it is today. Are you sure? Why don't you send somebody to the masjid and specify that with the Prophet? You know, maybe getting drunk is haram, but just to have sip, maybe it is not. Let's find out. Too many questions, too many ifs. People don't accept. Abu Talha heard that. Ya Anas, pour it out. Pour it out. You know, put it on the ground. And Anas said, and Abu Talha, the cup was up to his mouth. When he told him, Anas, that al-khamr became haram, he threw it away and he said, pour everything. And they left the house. They found that the wine was running in the streets of the Medina. For 40 days, the smell of wine was in the Medina because it was too much. You see? Why I'm saying this? This is the understanding why you sallimu taslima. If this is the order of Allah, سمعنا وأطعنا. Do it. No if, no question, no dispute, no nothing. You see? And so on. So anyway. Until what time do I have?
You have a
7:45
good
still.
45 minutes at least.
50
Can I ask
minutes.
some question? Yeah, this is about
7:35. You have till 7:45.
ما بحسن
no, 1 hour.
قبل هيك ارحمني الله يكرمك.
Keep you قد ايه بعدين؟
طيب ان شاء الله.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, أخي.
Yeah, I have a question. It's interesting about the Sharia, right? So, of course, we should have a full faith of the.
I don't hear very well. You have to
Okay,
speak
sure.
louder.
Okay, let me close. Yeah, this is about the Sharia. So, what do you think about the medicine of the Prophet? Like, it has become our Sharia or not? Because now we live in modern science, and then we
What?
have a lot of like medicine outside, right? Let's take a one hadith about camel urine. At the time of the Prophet, that the people of Medina get fever, right? And then Prophet tell them drink a camel urine, right? So now we live in modern science. We have option, right? Fever, medicine, everything. So what should I tell to my kids? I say,
No.
okay, you get fever, and then you have camel urine and the syrup or whatever. So it is like if we don't have a faith in this hadith, we have a problem with our iman, of course, right? But how is our scholar opinion about this camel urine and how we can?
نعم جزاك الله خير يرحمك الله. Now,
Repeat the question, please.
جزاك الله خير. The question is, the brother is asking, do we have to follow to the letter the order of the Prophet ﷺ or the recommendation of the Prophet ﷺ? For example, when those people they got sick and the Prophet ﷺ told them to drink the urine of the camel,
Yes.
and today we have different option to deal with the same problem, or do we have to follow the order of the Prophet by drinking the urine of the camel in order for us to be healed? Okay. We have to understand that the rules and regulation of the Sharia, they are categorized. One category is called to be obligatory. That means you have to do it. You have no question. It has to be done. Those are, they call them mandatory rules regulation, or they call it in the Sharia fard. We have another rules and regulation, which they call it favorable. Okay? If you do it, you will be rewarded. If you do not do it, you're not sinful. We have another rules and
How do you
regulation.
say that in Arabic, that the favorable Sharia?
Nawafil.
No, okay.
منيح إيه؟ If you don't like it, I give you another word.
No, I just want to learn the terms.
Okay. Nawafil. We have a third one, what they call it orders of the Sharia, that they are, in Arabic they call it furudu kifayat. Meaning somebody has to do it, Not the whole entire society has to do it. Somebody died. Somebody has to take care of him, wash him, bury him, and do this. But not all of us has to go bury him, and this is what they call furuz kifaya. If some people have done it, the rest of the people, they're not sinful. But it has not done, all the people become sinful. This is a third one. There is one, it will be in the category, is a recommendation that the Prophet ﷺ tells you. He is recommending that for you. He is not, it is not obligatory. It's recommendation. Now, those that are also categorized, meaning the Prophet ﷺ said, for those people who they have istisqa, you get sick, the only medicine at that time was the urine. You know? The Prophet ﷺ said, alaykum, hadith authentic by Abi Dawood and the rest, alaykum bis-sana wa sannut. If you have a problem, you have sana, which is kind of a plant. We call it in Syria sana Mekki. People know it. And a sannut, most people do not know what a sannut means. Sannut means cumin. Okay? To boil cumin and drink it. It will take care if you have gases, this and that, you know, what have you. The Prophet ﷺ said also in the other hadith, he said, لو كان في شفاء لكان في الحبة السوداء. If there are something to heal, from what we don't know, but it will be in the habba sauda, you know, the black seed. Okay. Now, all these hadiths, are they mandatory? No. Part of the Sharia, yes. Part of the Sharia. But how do I take him? Take him if you want. If you have a substitute, take the substitute. If it works, it works. If it doesn't work, it's up to you. If you want to stay sick, stay sick. It's up to you. It's not an obligation. It's not, but this is what they call it, recommended by the Prophet ﷺ. It's recommendation. Because he has to tell you what is beneficial to you, what is not. A guy who was sick came to the Prophet ﷺ. He said, my brother is so sick. He said, give him honey. He gave him honey, he was worse. He came back to the Prophet. He said, Ya Rasulullah, he's not getting any better. He gave him honey. He gave him honey, he got worse. 3 days. And the Prophet ﷺ kept telling him, give him honey. Finally, he gave him honey. It was okay. It needs 3 days to be on that particular medicine to work. Like you are a doctor, you give me medicine. It's not from the first day I can see the reaction. Maybe it's going to take 2-3 days, you know, for the medicine to work out. But if you do not want to take honey, you're not simple. But there is a point here the scholar told us about, which is the point. You're not obliged to do it, but you are obliged to respect it. You see, it's important.
Yeah, that's right.
The Prophet
Respect it
told
or
you,
accept it.
No,
There's a difference.
Respect it.
respect it.
So I don't have to believe that urine is a cure,
No,
but I
no.
have to respect it.
I'm not saying believe. I said if you don't want to do it, you have.
No, I don't want to drink it, but here's the question.
But don't make fun of it. Don't be disrespectful. Don't say that doesn't make sense. Don't say that this is, you know, you see what I'm saying?
But can I say that it's not a cure? Do I have to believe it or can I reject it? Respecting it and accepting are two different things. I don't have to drink it. Yeah, I understand that.
But you have to respect it. You cannot make mockery of it. Okay? Yes, Akhi.
How authentic this thing is? The
Listen to what he said because I don't.
What is saying? How authentic is camel urine story?
Oh, that's Sahih Hadith.
It's Sahih?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Sure?
The hadith about the urine of the camel, is it Sahih? And I said, yeah.
Yes. Yes, it is Sahih. As a matter of fact, one doctor, the other day, they have sent me a study, was done in Germany. It was what they call it, shocking study, that they have done it in Germany. non-Muslim doctors because of a Turkish Muslim in Germany. He told his bunch of people in the research department that in Islam, for this particular disease, they drink the urine of the camel. They laughed about it, and then one guy said, well, we are research department, let's do research. So they did the research on it, and the result was astonishing, and it was reported. So I think on the internet, if you seek it, if you try to look for it, I think you might come across to it. That what the Prophet ﷺ had ordered those people was exactly authentic, was correct for that particular disease. Okay? And also, the hadith that the Prophet ﷺ said about these people, those people became better. When the Prophet ﷺ told them to do that, they came better. And then after they become better, what did they do? They took those camel jockey or camel herder, they killed him, and they took the camels, and they ran away from the Medina. Because when they came, move this way a little bit. When they came to the Prophet ﷺ, and they told them about their problem, the Prophet ﷺ appointed for them few camels, and appointed for them a camel herder to take care of them. And he isolated them in the side of the Medina. So all what they had to do is to drink the milk of the camel plus some urine of the camel. After a few days, when they became good, they killed the guy who was appointed by the Prophet ﷺ, and they took those camels and they ran away. And when the Prophet ﷺ got that to his attention, he sent after them. He sent people after them. And they kept after them until they found them. They captured them. They brought them back to the Medina. And what did the Prophet ﷺ do to them? He pierced their eyes. You see? It was the most punishable thing that the Prophet ﷺ had done. He pierced their eyes. Why? Because they have done something really bad, and also the Prophet ﷺ want to teach the whole entire Arabic Peninsula and the whole mushrikeen that the blood of a Muslim is a sacred blood, sacred blood. It has to be respected. So those people, they violated so many ethics, you know. They did not appreciate the favor. They did not appreciate the help of the Prophet ﷺ. They killed an innocent guy. They stole something belongs to the Muslim, you know. And so they ran away. So the Prophet ﷺ had to punish them with this. And those, they call it, you know, this piercing of the eye, they call it samara a'yunahum, samala a'yunahum. And
yeah, maybe because I think this kind of punishment Prophet allowed on them, because I think maybe he was so upset because of their worst, I would say in this case, the worst example of ungratefulness to Allah and the person who actually taken it. Ungratefulness. What you call it in Arabic, I don't know. Ungratefulness.
what did he say?
Thankless.
He agreed with you.
Jazakallah khair.
Yeah.
And
Jazakallah.
he's saying that fierce punishment was given because they were ungrateful. That's why they gave him such a harsh punishment.
I guess the point, actually, we're not going to discuss whether what's the بارك الله فيك. just كمل الله يرضى عليك لأنه مو موضوعنا هل
نعم.
العقاب ولا مو عقاب.
Now we have, okay. How many do we have said so far? According to my notes here, we
Sharia
have done
rules.
6.
Yeah, Sharia rules.
The 7th one is that the Sharia is shamila, they call it shumuliya. What does shumuliya mean? It means it governs all aspects of life. Okay? So Sharia, like we explained in the beginning, when we said Sharia, said mu'amalat, right? Deal and wheel, ibadat, block of worship, and then akhlaq, akhlaqiyat. So everything. We live in the society. What's in the society? How to deal with my neighbor, how to deal with my wife, how to deal with my kids, how to deal with my fellow brothers, how to deal with the non-Muslim, with the Muslim, how to buy and sell, everything. So that the Sharia is have all the aspects of life. It governs all the aspects of life. Okay. Also, a Sharia, this is a very important point, by the way, and this is a criteria. There is no any other Sharia will have it. This is what I'm just going to tell you. What is a Sharia al-Islamiyya? Everybody understanding me? A Sharia al-Islamiyya, it has two main pillars. The rules and regulation of a Sharia, those rules and regulation, they have to take care of the right of the person and the right of the people, right? Fair and just. But there's also another thing, is that a Sharia, the second pillar of it, it will take in consideration the moral ethics. You see? Two rules, two pillars. The first pillar are the rules and regulations that are fair and just, but within that is that they are the moral ethics.
Oh,
Okay.
so it has to have two qualifications. One is it has to be just, and second has to be based on morals and ethics.
Jazakallah khair. I cannot put it better than this way. Okay? An example of that, the Prophet ﷺ said, you come to me with your problem. And some of you might be more allegorical and better
Yeah.
in presenting the fact or the way they talk, So he can convince me better than the other person. So what I will do, I will make a judgment to his favor. He said, whoever I do that, أقطع له قطعة من النار. If that's the situation, that means when I make judgment for that person, I'm giving him a piece of the hellfire. What is he telling me here? He's telling me here, he's raising within me, awareness of the moral ethics. I cannot lie on behalf of my brother. I cannot take some of his rights. I might be a lot of people you see, they are so strong when they present their evidence. They're so strong in the way they talk. They are smart. The way they present things, it's convincing. But behind this, are you saying the truth? Are you right? This is what they call the scholar, the ethical value. Now we go to the court here, we have the best judge, we have the best lawyer, to defend us, Okay, we got the rule to our favor. Is it right? Is it halal? Does that make it right? I cheated my brother. Is this acceptable? Islam makes that awareness. No other rules makes awareness. As a matter of fact, the people who they wrote this, they said all other systems, they based it on what they call it, the rules and regulation. And that's why here in the United States we have a lot of Al-Qanun لا يحمل مغفلين. Al-Qanun, the law, does not protect the stupid one. You've heard that before, right? In Islam, it's not true, it's not acceptable. There is right for people. Even the judge wrote you that right. He gave you that piece of land or he gave you the house. But where is your conscience? Where is your moral ethics? How can you accept this? A guy came to me the other day, was very close to me. He said, I work in a company. My contract is to work until 11 o'clock. But nobody shows up after 9 o'clock. I can leave by 9 o'clock. And everything is okay. And most people doing it. He said, can I do it? I said, you cannot. Where is your moral value? Where is your ethics? Where is your deen? Where are you standing in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? You have a contract with the company. You're going to be there until 11 o'clock. You're leaving there by 9 o'clock. How do you justify those 2 hours that you're getting paid for it? You cannot. I don't care whether they know or not. I don't care whether I get caught or not. I have ethical and moral value. I'm a Muslim. I don't accept to cheat. I don't accept to take something that does not belong to me. This is the criteria of the Sharia of Islam. You cannot find it anywhere else. Okay? Also, Sharia, we have said this, but it comes right now, number 9, that the Sharia is general for everybody. Does not favor nobody over nobody. And also because it is general for every nation, for every people. General means for any place, wherever you go, wherever you are a Muslim. General means also for any time. As a matter of fact, an American guy who said, I wanted to become a Muslim, he came to the Islamic Center, and maybe you've seen him here because he lives closer to here. And I told him to come here. And I told him there is the brother Abu Hamza, Allah Tawal Amru. I said, he's a very good guy and there's a very good community here. He can come here. He said, I love Islam. Everything I read about Islam, I love it and I like it. But I have one question in my mind. I said, what's the question? He said, I cannot accept, logically speaking, that rules and regulation that was done 1400 years ago, that it will be suitable for this time. He said, I've asked too many people. I called too many people, Muslim scholar, and those people, they told me it's from Allah, they told me it is this, they told me, I'm not convinced. And I said, if those are bigger scholars, they were not able to convince you, I'm sorry, I'm not going to be able to convince you because I am smaller than them and I don't have as much knowledge as they do. But to my mind, I have a way to answer the question. He said, what? I said, what's the difference between you and Adam? You know Adam? He said, yeah, Adam is the first guy was ever created by Allah. Okay. I said, what's the difference between you and Adam? He said, that's a strange question. What do you mean? I said, Adam eats, you eat. Adam goes to the bathroom, you go to the bathroom. Adam gets sick, you get sick. Adam has a wife, you have a wife. Adam have lust and desire, you have lust and desire. Right? I said, a human being is a human being. Whether he is 10,000 years ago or 10,000 years later. We're still a human being. We love women, we love money, we love to be famous, we love to be strong, we love to be in position, we love to be powerful, we love to have money, we love to have car, we love to show off. All the aspects of a person, right? Those aspects, they never change. A human being is a human being. The rules and regulation of Allah had come down to deal with the human being. Because the human being does not change, Those rules and regulations, they do not need to be changed. 10,000 years ago, people used to steal. Today, there are people stealing. 10,000 years ago, people used to fornicate. Today, they do. They drink. Today. Whatever you think of. They cheat, they lie, they cut corners. All the problem of a humanity today, they existed in all life of a humanity. Islam, the rules and regulation, doesn't matter if it's 1400 years or 2000 years, they're dealing with man as a man with his criteria, or dealing with woman as a woman with the criteria. All the problems we have in the society today, we have it in every society, and I don't care how far you go back. Yes.
I have a very controversial question, Sheikh. Based on what you just said, that Sharia are fact, that the Sharia, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, is His jurisprudence, He makes the law, He issues the law. And we are to obey by that, regardless of time and space and zaman, makan. Now going back to this rulings that the scholars, the ijtihad about financing your house in the West. Allah says clearly in the Quran that interest is haram. So what can any scholar do to overcome that ruling in the Quran? I guess my question is, we can call it ijtihad, but does that make it legal? Does that make it right?
First of all, even though we're going to come out of the subject that we are addressing,
Sorry about that.
it's okay. But it seems like it's bothering you too much, so I'm going to go ahead and address it. You are not obligated to any ijtihad. Number one. Number two, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will deal with you according to your intention. The Prophet ﷺ said, إِنَّمَا الْأَعْمَالُ بِالنِّيَّاتِ. If your intention to trick and to play game with the Sharia and trying to find shortcut, Allah knows it. And He will deal with you according to that intention. If my intention truly to please Allah and to adopt the Sharia, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows that, and He will reward you according to that, knowing that. Thirdly, I can call myself ignorant. I am ignorant. I'm not knowledgeable. To be safe, I'm going to follow the school of thought of Shafi'i. So whatever that madhab is going to tell me, I'm going to follow. Then I release myself from all liabilities. No, I trust Sheikh so and so. I'm going to follow his opinion. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala know that I'm not trying to make shortcut, and my intention is to adopt the Sharia. Then you have that. So there are so many ways to look at the same situation. Okay? Another one, somebody said, you could your own, God forbid, if somebody gets sick, wouldn't you go to the best doctor to cure yourself? Or you're going to believe me if I give you medicine, or you're going to believe so and so? Your health is the most important thing to you. Your life depends on it. Your religion is more important. If you're going to ask somebody you can trust to make a decision on your health, you're supposed to make research. Many people, they said, that this opinion of this doctor I don't like. So what they go, consortium opinion of other doctors to come up with it. You know that. Now in religion, I might ask this guy or this guy or this guy or this guy to get to the bottom of it, or I myself can make it my research and sit down and research the idea. Okay? Now that's from your side. I'm answering the question from your side. From the side of the scholar, that's his opinion. That's his knowledge. That's the way he sees it. And according to his intention, same way, if his intention is to please Allah and to serve the Muslim, and to clarify some misconception about the deen, that's his intention. And he believed that this verdict that he come up with is the true one. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will deal with him, will reward him according to that. So here what I'm trying to tell you is that each one of us is responsible in front of Allah on his own. Allah knows you inside out. He knows your intention. He knows what you're doing, and He knows what you are capable of. Back to that particular subject. Some people believe that in the Sharia, even though in the Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave us 3 strong ayat against riba. Okay? يقوم كما يقوم الذين خبطه الشيطان من المس فأذن بحرب من الله ورسوله وأحل الله البيع وحرم الربا. Clear. But those people, they said, okay, the same Sharia who made this one haram, also they told us that necessity makes things easy. And we have rule, الضرورات تبيح المحظورات. As a matter of fact, it's 3 rules. الضرورات تبيح المحظورات والضرورة تقدر بقدرها والضرورة تقدر من قبل صاحبها. There are 3 together. But anyway, الضرورات will kind alter what is forbidden. الضرورة, you have the person who is exercising that necessity is the one who knows whether it is necessity for him or not. And also he is the one who's going to say how much is affecting him. Okay? You're sick, you can break your fast. I'm not going to tell you break your fast. But I can tell you if you're sick, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala permitted you to break your fast. Now you have to make a decision whether you are sick enough that you cannot continue to fast. And you are the one who needs to determine whether you are sick for 1 day or 2 days or 3 days. I am not. Okay? So this is what they call necessity. Now here the scholar, somebody comes to him and he said, I have 7 children. Nobody is renting me a house. If I have a house for rent, if the rent is $800, the guy, because I have 8 children, he's telling me that, I'm going to ruin the house. So he raises the rent to be $1,200 rather than $800. And also, every year he's going to increase the rent for 10-15%. My salary is not increased 10-15% per year, Truly, my children are going to damage the house, and I cannot fix it. I cannot do that. And I cannot pay $1,200. And if I buy the same house that I'm renting for $1,200, the bank is going to charge me only $750, which is a true statement. And so what am I going to do? Stay poor, live in that apartment, and pay $1,200? Or buy that house and buy the haram, buy the riba, and pay $750 and bring enough food for my children to eat, or put them in school, or give them enough shelter and this. When you come up with this problem to the scholar cannot make a general verdict, but he can make a verdict specified for you. Okay? This is another point. Because what's good for you may not be good for him. What's halal for you may not be halal for him.
I see.
So with this rule, I cannot, you said somebody came to the Quran and he bent the rule and he made it halal for everybody. To start with, when you are violating the rules and regulation of Islam, it has to be on personal, issue. It cannot be generalized issue. Now, You could generalize it. It said, if you have 10 children and nobody is renting you and they're asking you to pay a hefty sum of money every month and this and that, and you're not having enough income, they put all those stipulations, and then you could go ahead and buy it from the bank. That's a different story. You see what I'm saying? So anytime you want to violate the rules, you have to have an exit. You have to have, a reason for it. There are some rules that the scholar can use, to violate the main order.
Create exceptions.
Exceptions. Put it this way. Okay? So, do you have another question? Do you have another question? Open question.
You answered it, but I don't know if it is the same thing. You understand the question I did. I wasn't in the class here, but according to the understanding of the people that were in the class, you said it's okay to have life insurance, which is not a necessity as far as general population. Okay, and I said, I doubt if Sheikh Abdullah will say that. So maybe what you use as an excuse is what you use now. So that's all I'm asking.
Jazakallah khair. It was not in a class, and it was not an open meeting. It was one-on-one question and answer. Okay? Somebody called me and said, Akhi, can I buy insurance on my house? I said, Ya Akhi, are you rich? He said, no. I said, are you making a payment? He said, yes. I said, if you are making a payment, go ahead and buy insurance on your house. From the same rule, necessity. Okay? And actually, they're not going to give you a loan on your house unless you have insurance. Okay? That's one. No, my house is paid for it. Okay, your house is paid for it. Now, if there is a disaster and your house is gone, where are you going to be? I'm going to be in the street with my family. Go ahead and buy insurance. Okay? Another question. Can I buy a full coverage insurance on my car? Yes. Why? Why? Because if somebody hits you from the back, God forbid, and you have a neck lash or whiplash or whatever you want to call it, or disc or whatever, and you go to the hospital, thousands of dollars is going to be your bill. Is this fair? It's not fair. Do you have the money for it? No. What are you going to do? You buy insurance. Because when you are in a country that they do not fear Allah, I have to protect myself. I don't have to be naive and saying, well, I'm a Muslim, I'm depending on Allah. No, you depend on Allah, you do what is legal, what is right to protect yourself. But I mean legal and right, you're not cheating the system. You're not cheating the people. This is something is sold for everybody. Okay? So you go. Anyway, I need to remind everybody, that's an opinion. It's not obligatory. You don't like it? Don't do it. You want to have your house burned and live with your family in the street? That's the way you want to do it. You have a lot of money, you could go buy another house. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made it easy for you. Don't buy it. It is not forcible, the opinion on anybody. But that's an opinion. Who made this opinion? Me? No. I don't make opinion. What made opinion is the general director and the big guy who is in Kulliyat al-Sharia بجامعة دمشق and the head, the dean of Kulliyat al-Sharia in Jami'at Dimashq, and he had challenged all the scholars that you have heard of. And he made what they call it Al-Mu'tamar al-Islami. What's his name? Dr. Mustafa Sba'i. And another Dr. Mustafa Dara. Okay? Is that his specialty? Yes. He was the dean of the Kulliyat al-Sharia and what branch? Branch of Fiqh and Usul al-Din. And Usul al-Din. And the book is written, the book is published, the opinion is there, and he had done Al-Mu'tamar al-Islami al-Awwal in Jeddah. He went there, and most of the scholars of Saudi Arabia, they stood against him. Even Sheikh al-Qardawi. The second meeting was done in Jordan. He went there and he made his lecture there, and the book that I'm referring to is a compilation of all those lectures. And then people start accepting. And now, Sheikh al-Qardawi is saying, we are following what Dr. al-Zarqa is saying, that we fought him about it 40 years ago. Okay? And Dr. al-Zarqa, when he made his discussion, he said, there is nothing in the Sharia said. Look at the statement, very strong statement. There's nothing in the Sharia to forbid that you pay for a service. And he brought you so many examples. An example, for example, you have a shop, jewelry shop, okay, in the mall. You hire a guard to protect that shop. You're paying him every month $2,000. Did he do anything to you? Did he give you anything? He's sitting there, he put a chair and he sit there all night long. Does he have any deed? Did you get anything? No, you got safety. You got peace of mind. You went to sleep and you relaxed. This is a pure service, you paid for it. That's one of the examples. I have a product for my merchandise. It's going to cost me $500,000. I ordered it from China to come to the United States. The ship might sink. The people might steal it. At the port, they might steal it. Transportation, ground transportation might have an accident. My money could go away. I need to have a peace of mind. I need to go to sleep. I need to relax. I buy insurance. Is this haram? According to him, there is no text in the Sharia to say it is haram. And money for services, it is well established in the fiqh of a Sharia. You see? The Prophet ﷺ wanted to migrate from Mecca to Medina. What did he do? He hired a non-Muslim to tell him where the road is and how to go. And they paid him. What did he do? He just told him about the way. Services. The Prophet ﷺ used it with non-Muslim. It is known. And Imam Abu Hanifa radiallahu anhu, did he agree with services, wages for services? Yes. Ad-Durr al-Muhtaj, you'll find it there. His student, Ibn Abdin and al-Hashiyah, they said no. But Abu Hanifa radiallahu anhu himself said yes. You could do that. And we're doing it. Okay? So, buying services is allowed according to him. This is the rule. I follow that. I like that. I studied it. I studied it completely with his student. You know? And I looked with the teacher. There was a teacher. We brought what Ibn Abdin had said is haram, what all the other scholars said is haram, and they made a discussion, and they showed us proof by proof that this is not this is not this, and where the mistake is. Okay? Still, final thought. That's an opinion. You like it, you want to do it, do it. You don't want to do it, it's up to you. Now, the same thing. You're living in the United States. You have children. Your wife never worked. You don't have any piece of work. You have nothing. Okay? You die. What's going to happen to your children, to your wife? They become homeless? Some people will do. Some people, they have no resources. What am I going to do? Akhi, I'm going to buy life insurance. In case I die, my wife will get $100,000. She can survive. She can put my children in school. She can do that. Services, paying for services to protect my family, to protect my children. Some of those scholars, they say this is halal. You don't like it? Don't do it. Simple as that. Okay? And so on. I have done, here's doctors, there are doctors here. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the witness. I went to Truman Medical Center. I did not have insurance. I had a cold bladder. They're trying to remove the cold bladder. I have the bill. $22,800 just to remove my cold bladder. Truman Medical Center. I'm giving you the hospital name, I'm giving you the receipt. What am I going to give him $22,800? You tell me. I have an open heart surgery. Wallahi, I could not believe. Even my doctor could not believe. $283,000 for my open heart surgery. $283,000. You're hearing the number? For my house at St. Luke's Hospital. That's the whole bill. You see? So where am I going to bring $283,000? I'm going to buy insurance. You don't want to do it? Don't do it. وصلى الله وسلم وبارك على سيدنا ونبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم. اللهم ردنا إلى دينك ردا جميلا. اللهم تقبل منا وتب علينا يا أرحم الراحمين.
Ameen.
If I had said something right, it's from the help of Allah. If I haven't made a mistake, it's because of my ignorance and my lack of knowledge. And I apologize to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, number one. I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for forgiveness. And I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to pardon me. Wa, you know, jazakumullah khair for listening to me.